Alright folks, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Planescape Torment! Ya cocksucker! Last episode we gained Ignis. He's a badass fire mage. This video we're going to work on getting yet another companion. But first, we must get the fuck out of the hive once again. And unfortunately it is nighttime.
Seeking company, I'm trying to fuck.
We go back to the clerk's ward. We have the apothecary, the art and curio gallery. Finum, the linguist's house, the advocate's home. Under Sigil. Let's explore up here and see what else we have.
Sir, might I have a word with you?
Not yet, bastard. You're busy exploring. This massive, ancient-looking structure is somehow less foreboding than the others of its size. Alrighty then. Here's the brothel of slating intellectual lust. Let's go check out that place. I like brothels. Kick this fucking door open. Let's talk to Fall from Grace. Before you is a stunning golden-haired woman, dressed in an azure and violet dress, with two long elegant wings draped across her shoulders. She is surveying the room with a slight smile. She is easily the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. Greetings. The woman turns to you as you address her. She takes your measure, then nods slightly. You notice her eyes are azure, the exact same color as her dress.
Well met, traveler.
She reaches up to brush back a stray lock of golden hair.
How may I help you?
Who are you?
I am called Fall from Grace.
She studies you for a moment.
You are new to Sigil, are you not?
No, I suspect I've been here for some time, quite, actually.
Indeed?
Yes, but it's a long tale, perhaps longer than I know. I'm more interested in what this place is.
This is the brothel of slating intellectual lust.
She studies you for a moment.
I take it by your question that you do not intend to partake of this establishment.
Brothel of slating intellectual lust? What kind of brothel is this?
I established this brothel to give those lustful fevers, to strike the mind, more avenues of expression, rather than simply carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging the verbal arts with others.
Sounds dull.
I assure you it is not. Tour the brothel, see for yourself.
So this is a brothel where there's no intercourse?
Only of a psychological nature. Rest assured, it is quite stimulating.
I have to ask, why did you establish such a place?
Fall from Grace raises an eyebrow.
That is an odd question.
She frowns.
I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, at least directly.
My apologies, Lady Grace. I didn't mean to be so direct. I was merely curious.
Oh, no apologies are necessary. I am more than happy to discuss the reasons with you, if you wish.
I would like to hear them, yes.
Part of the answer to your question requires that you know I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible.
And that's why you established this place?
The brothel is indeed to slate the lust of even the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways experiencing another person. It is for those who seek something more than the shallow physical pleasures that fill the hive and lower wards.
Well, I wouldn't call them I can understand that. The women here must be special indeed.
The women here are aspiring sensates. They have come to me in search of instruction to prepare themselves to enter the faction. Also, many of them have a natural grasp of language that can shatter the crust of the most hardened individual.
Sensates?
She bows slightly. Yes, I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible.
And the girls here are in training to be sensates?
Yes, I hope that by learning the art of language and its subtleties, that patrons and students here may learn more about themselves.
If I might ask, Lady Grace, the wings on your back, you are not human, I take it.
She's a one of the fiends. One of the succubi, she is. She'll take your measure and she'll take your skull to the lower plane, so she will. Your companion is correct. I am a lesser tenare, more specifically a succubus. She gives a soft sigh. I'm afraid we're a little too common in the lower planes and elsewhere for our own good. Most of my race spend their time seducing mortals with various pleasures of the flesh.
And you?
I'd like to think that I have distanced myself from that. It is ultimately a trivial and non-productive way for one to spend one's time here in the multiverse. There's much more to life, wouldn't you agree?
Perhaps so.
Alright. Let's ask her for help. Actually, let's ask her if she'll join you on your travels. Anna stiffens, then starts muttering under her breath. Who's to say she'll be coming with us? We don't need the likes of her. So we don't. By that fiendling. Morte clicks his teeth together. I'm all for the succubus coming with us. The powers know you're about as fun as passing a caltrope through your bowels. You best latch your bone box, skull, or I'll rally you so hard you'll be picking your teeth off the spire. Travel with you? Fall from Grace smiles slightly. She seems to be ignoring your companions. That's rather forward.
I'd rather be honest with my intentions. You seem extremely pleasant and well-versed in the ways of the plains. A companion with that kind of knowledge would be welcome.
Hey, wait just a minute. I'm the one well-versed in the plains. That's my job, Chief.
Having two people knowledgeable about the plains in our band seems pretty smart to me. Besides, I said pleasant too, Morte.
Pleasant on the eyes, maybe. Looks to me like some chit has to do in the show The Little Skin. You'll sign her right up. Morte falls silent. Not that I mind that, really. I just thought I'd mention it.
Noted, Morte. Look, Lady Grace, excuse me if I'm being too formal, but would you care to travel with us?
I appreciate your candor. I shall counter with some of my own. Why should I travel with you?
Lady Grace, I intend to travel places perhaps no one else has ever been to or could reach. Would that interest you?
That would indeed. She cups her chin in her hand and thinks for a moment. Yet,
how exciting could this place be?
I think you'd be surprised. If you want me to accompany you, I need far more compelling reason. We need a far more compelling reason than I am not fucking finding. You awoke in the mortuary?
I think a dustman mistook me for being dead, or I was dead, or something. All I know is that I regenerate wounds quickly. I could be immortal, but I don't even know that for sure.
Fall from Grace seems to be appraising you with renewed interest. Those scars on your body. She reaches out a hand as if to touch you. May I?
Yes.
Fall from Grace drags her finger across your chest lightly, tracing the edges of your scars and following the curves where they blend into some of your tattoos. She seems fascinated. These scars do look as if they would have taken several lifetimes to accumulate.
They certainly do, though some are more recent.
She takes a step back. Some of those wounds would have been fatal to a normal man. What do you intend to do now?
I need to get my memories back, my life back. I intend to scour the plains and search inside myself until I can piece together who I am.
Fall from Grace is still thinking, her fingers tapping on her chin. I must say, I've never met a man who's lost himself in the literal sense. Forgive me, but your condition is intriguing.
Intriguing? Frightening is more like it. I don't like not knowing who I am.
what I may have done, who my enemies are, and who my friends may be.
I have offended you with my words. I give my apology if you'll have it.
Accepted.
If it will help you, you are welcome to tour the brothel. Several of our students are well versed in verbal arts. Perhaps some of them will be able to rekindle your memories.
This is the dialogue you want to choose.
You mean you wouldn't be interested in traveling with an immortal amnesiac who is searching for the plains?
Oh, I would be extremely interested. Such a suggestion is intriguing, make no mistake about that.
Then you would travel with me then.
If you wish me to, there is something you must do for me. There are 10 students in the establishment. I would like you to speak to all of them. Then return with me your thoughts. Then we shall see if we shall travel together.
Very well.
As you make a search of the armoire, its handles suddenly yank out of your grasp, as if the drawers slam themselves shut.
Hello?
Hello indeed.
The armoire gives another humph.
So what have we here? A rogue after some Lady Fairley's undergarments,
You talk.
Do I? Why, yes I do.
Who are you?
I am Lewis, and who are you, thoughtless, uncouth fellow, rummaging about other people's things?
Never mind that. What are you doing here?
Well, sir, if you must know, I am being an armoire.
But why are you being an armoire in this brothel?
I happen to have become an armoire because I want to be an armoire, thank you very much. It's not to watch the ladies undressing, nor to have them place their soft, sweet-smelling undergarments in my drawers, where they can rub against my skin. Such accusations are insult to the practitioner of magic arts. I am merely soaking in the experience that it means to be an armoire. The sights, the smells, the sensations.
So all the women know about this then?
Yes, they do. And they wholeheartedly approve of, well, not with their entire heart exactly. And while they have not yet spoken their approval in my presence, since they're not exactly aware that I am an armoire, I would not want them to know that I am anything but, and so I have not been able to inquire upon the matter.
I'll need something from you to be quiet.
Can you return to your normal form at will? The armoire seems to think about this for a moment.
I have no need to share such secrets with the likes of you, and besides, there is no cause to change back at the present moment, since I have not yet experienced the full sensations of being an armoire. It is a complex thing to hold and sort such frilly clothes smelling of wondrous women's smells.
The drawer slides open and closed, the sound mimicking a pleasant sigh.
Do you know anything of Ravel Puzzlewell?
Few folk who dwell in Sigil at any late time don't. I must wonder, though, what is it about her you wish to know?
I need to find her.
You're mad, you know, quite mad, utterly balmy, I believe, is the common learned for it. Ravel was banished from Sigil long ago, and if she's not dead, you'll wish you were, should you somehow succeed in finding her. She'll devour all those who sought her out before, it is said, and she'll likely do the same disservice. I will leave enough alone. I would leave well enough alone. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck your mother.
Alright, anyways, let's talk to the students here. That was Delora, she's got issues. That'll be number 2. I'm not sure if we have to talk in depth with these people. So I'm just doing the greetings. This is Kamaxiatter tongue.
Kasai Saris. Get the fuck in the room, you retard. This is an alarmingly voluptuous woman. Echo and Ninny Nine Eyes. And Juliet. We'll of course talk to these people in more depth after we've got Fall from Grace in our party. I'm not even sure this is going to constitute talking to them. Figured I'd give it a shot. Marissa. If this doesn't work, I think I'll just restart and do it one by one.
I spoke to 9 of the students as you asked, but I could not find the 10th. I'm thinking the 10th student is me, in which case I have spoken to all of them.
She nods. Very well, and your thoughts?
You and I should leave this place and explore the plains. There is nothing more for either one of us to experience here.
Fall from Grace nods. Very well, I will travel with you, if you still desire my company.
I do.
Oh, Mistress High and Mighty, you'll be joining us? Or do we need to have her?
Possibly
I
understand.
wish she would fall from a great height. I might even bump her off myself.
So Anna obviously doesn't get along with it. And Fall from Grace is a priest. So we finally have a priest in the party, which is good. 42 hit points. She's a nice average character. 16's all around with a high charisma and a lower strength. She has Fall from Grace earrings. The Chastity Bodice. Can't move her armor. And her diary. So she would do well with the bludgeoning type weapon. Which the hammer will not suffice.
I still gotta level up. Shit. Gotta level up here. I'll be right back once I take care of that business. And we'll talk to the brothel girls a little bit more in depth and see what we can do to help them. BRB. Alright, so we've gained a level for both my guys here. What I did with the chosen one, or the nameless one rather, was I added a constitution point, which gave him a +1 hit point per level, which is of course retroactive. So I actually gained 10 hit points for my 10 levels. So I went from a 64 to a 74. And I gained, I believe I got 3 hit points from rolling. I decided not to wait around for the extra hit point. Dakon got 4 out of 5 hit points. He's now level 7 fighter, 7 mage. He's getting 2 attacks per turn. And besides that, his +5 to hit, +10 to damage is pretty much whooping that ass. He's got 88 hit points and -8 armor. Not to be fucked with. At all. At all, deal. Okay. So anyways, let's talk to Fall from Grace again, because we're going to try to buff up Morte here. In fact, let's save. Just in case, you never know. I wanted to talk about our companions. Morte.
Morte is most peculiar. I've seen a great deal in my life, but nothing quite like him. He behaves somewhat like a mimir. Granted, there's no denying he's knowledgeable, but he is a certain... She sniffs the air and wrinkles her nose. Batorian smell about him.
Batorian smell?
Yes, but he's not Bazatu. At least of any variety I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me treat the skull with caution.
What do you mean when you say Batizu and Batorian?
My apologies. Bator is one of the outer planes, the home and race of fiends called the Batizu. They are evil creatures, yet they are organized and lawful in many of their behaviors. Some might call them devils. They believe in contracts and hierarchy. In many ways, they are like evil bureaucrats.
What you were saying about the Batorian smell?
Yes, but he's not Batizu. At least any variety I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me repeat myself.
What were you saying about the Mimir?
Mimirs are encyclopedias of knowledge. The owner may ask them questions, and if they possess the knowledge, they will inform the user of what it knows.
And Morte is a Mimir?
I don't believe so. Morte lacks the silvery metal that Mimirs customarily have, and he seems to have an attitude on his own. Such qualities are not present in conventional Mimirs. She shrugs slightly. He may be one, but is unlikely any I've ever encountered.
Alright, so after that, you can also speak to her about Ravel as well.
I'm familiar with the name. Fall from Grace pauses and thinks for a moment. Rumors cluster thickly about that name, and most tend to discount her as a myth, but I suspect that she did exist, and that she made quite an impression in the cage during her stay here. She looks puzzled. Why do you ask?
I intend to seek her out.
She raises an eyebrow. Truly, I find myself compelled to ask why.
I need information that she has.
Is this information available from no one else?
I suspect that only Ravel possesses the knowledge I need.
Grace rests her hand lightly on your arm. Consider this. If Ravel does indeed exist, then she is extremely powerful and cunning. If a fraction of the stories of her activities are true, then she is a creature that has discovered new meanings of evil. To search for her is not a quest to be undertaken lightly.
I realize that.
Well, I've never met a myth. This should be quite an outing, she smiles. Don't you ever try to do anything boring?
I try not to. Do you know anything else about Ravel?
She was said to be one of the hags of the Great Waste, and that she is believed to possess powers and a cunning far beyond those of her sisters. She came to Sigil long ago, and in addition to the evil she committed during her stay, rumor has it that her actions threaten the cage itself. Now she primarily exists only as fiction, as a figure in children's stories. Grace pauses. I imagine the Lady of Pain dealt with her all threats as Sigil are dealt with.
How?
Ravel was most likely sent to a maze, one of the lady's prisons.
What is the Great Waste?
A blighted plane that lies effectively between Bator and the Abyss. It is frequently a battleground in the Blood War.
Anyways, at this point what you want to do is talk to Morte, now that we have more information about him. You said you're a Mimir, right, Morte?
Yeah, a Mimir is a floating encyclopedia. You put information in, you get information out.
But aren't Mimirs made of silvery metal?
So, maybe some are, but I'm not. And there's stranger things on the plains than that, Chief.
I don't think you're a Mimir, Morte. What are you?
What's this, an interrogation? What do you know about Mimirs anyways?
I think I know enough that you're lying to me. First, a bit about missing the line from my back, not saying not to trust you, then this. What am I supposed to think?
Okay, I'm not a Mimir, but I know a lot of stuff, so I might as well be one.
What are you then?
I'm a floating skull who knows a lot.
What about the Batorian smell you have?
What would you know about Bator smells like? Unless, hey, you've been talking with me with that Tanari, haven't you? What does she know?
Well, she's obviously touched on something. That is a Batorian smell, right?
Well, yeah, but, well, so I smell a little, excuse me.
Why do you smell like a Bator?
I was in the Hells for a while. Kind of a long while. The stench kind of grows on you.
You were in the Hells? What were you doing there?
See, well, there's this pillar of Avernus, the first layer of Bator. It's called the Pillar of Skulls. It's more like the Pillar of Heads. To hear some of the Bashas Delic supposedly made the heads of Burks, mostly sages and scholars, who used knowing this and knowing that when they were alive to stretch the truth a little. So much they might have hurt, or killed someone by doing it. Well, when I died, I ended up here. Funny, huh?
Not really.
He goes silent for a moment. Yeah, you're right. It's not funny at all. You see, I think I knew a lot of things when I was alive. And maybe I did know something. I didn't always tell the truth about it. I'm thinking when I bent the truth once or twice, I may have led to getting someone penned in the dead book sooner than they should have.
Can you remember who? It was me, wasn't it?
Morty looks at you for a moment. Yeah, I can't say how I know it, Chief, but I think so. I think you were the one that got me sent there. The last twig in the bundle before the whole load snaps. Thing is, I can't remember what happened. Don't even remember being human or what my life even was like before I woke up on the pillar.
Why did you forget?
That's pretty much the way of things when you die, as I'm sure you're no stranger to. You just forget. I figure I wasn't a sterling member of the community when I was alive, but hells, whose is? Morty sighs. It's just that I can't help it. Nothing worse than being honest all the time.
Except being sentenced to the Hells. That sounds a lot worse than telling the truth.
Yeah, you're right. Again. Morty clicks his teeth. The way he does, it reminds you of someone drumming their fingers. I guess it's all good and evil, and lying and cheating catches up with you. But when I got penned in the dead book, it was my turn to pay the ferryman.
So how did you escape the pillar?
Well, you helped me, Chief. When you showed up at the Pillar of Skulls, I pushed my way to the front. My obvious know-how and charm attracted your attention. And knew that I was head of the new most, so I cut a deal with you.
Deal?
As Morte speaks, your vision seems to bleed into a fiery red, and you hear a howling, a horrible screaming, towers of voices, chittering, screeching, hammering, all of them begging, screaming to be freed in Morte's voice, faint, almost lost in the horde. He sounds desperate, frightened, and pathetically, tragically lost. You, skull, speak. The howling voices fall silent, and you watch the tiny red-lined skull, its cracked features cast in hellish light, turn its eyes up at you. Blood and ichor has streamed across its features, and its teeth chatter as if cold.
I can help you. I know what you seek. All these heads, all their knowing, just please, I beg of you, free me. Let me help you. I'll tell you anything.
Will you swear it, skull? Swear you will serve me until my end days, or here you'll remain.
I swear, just please, free me.
He watches Morte seekingly swallows his pride, almost a tangible thing.
I beg you, let me help you.
Very well, I shall free you.
Your vision slides as if you are moving, and howling, screaming cacophony begins again. A nightmarish horde of howls and catcalls and taunts and insults. You feel the hands sliding into the filth quagmire of the pillar, the biting of fangs, mandibles, and your hands locking around the tiny skull and ripping, tearing it from the pillar like an old scab.
It is done.
You look down at the bloody skull in your scarred hands, its eyes covered in a core from the pillar. Its teeth chatter once, twice. It reminds you of a wailing newborn, helpless, and in the eyes of a man you once were. Pathetic. I have freed you. Now your life and your death is mine, Morte. Your vision swirls, the mist of the past drifting away, and Morte is still chattering on.
We talked for a while, Chief, you and me, seeing whether the arrangement would work. And I think we both were really impressed with each other, so you invited me off the pillar. I've been kind of with you ever since.
Well, what happened then?
Well, I didn't know I'd lose most of the pillar's knowledge once I was out of it. I mean, how was I to know? I'd never been off the damn thing. But you were pretty understanding about it.
You lost all knowledge you said you had? Your vision swirls again, making you dizzy. And you feel your gut churn. You hear the cracking, snapping of bone, and Morte howls, howling in pain, screaming for someone to stop killing him. And your hand lashing out again and again. Damn you, Skull, you lied to me. I'll thrust you back in that damnable pillar and leave you to die there.
There was a clatter of bone against the sounds like metal, a flow or a wow, the skittering of teeth knocked free.
You can hear Morte mewling like a beaten dog for you to stop. Know that your suffering on the pillar will be nothing. To the torment I will make you suffer. Your vision swirls and Morte cries ebbs, fading into his chattering ring.
So you realize I still had my uses, so I took up with you, and I've been with you ever since.
Morte, what did I want from the pillar, and how long was I in that I freed you?
Morte thinks for a moment. Well, as for how long, I don't know the exact count, Chief. Ages, I suppose. I've done all I could to help you each time, but it's not easy. And as for what you wanted at the pillar, I don't know. Once you pried me off, I couldn't remember.
Morte, why didn't you say something when we were at the mortuary?
Morte suddenly becomes defensive. Because I never know who you're gonna be. Some of your incarnations have been stark, raving mad. One time you awoke obsessed with the idea I was your skull and chased me around the spire trying to shatter and devour me. Luckily, you were crushed by a passing car in the street. Another good and lawful, you tried to thrust me back into the pillar. Because it's where I belonged. That's why, besides, no harm's ever come out of you not knowing.
So you stayed with me all this time?
Well, yeah, Chief. I said I would. Morte always keeps his promises. He pauses. Well, most of them. There was this one shit on Naboria who...
You suddenly realize that Morte's tone has changed. Past the joke, you realize he's trying to hide something. Something about why he's with you. Morte, seriously, why are you still traveling with me?
Chief, I said it's because I promised, all right?
He looks irritated. What else could it be? I don't know. You didn't need to stick around after I freed you.
Well, of course not, Chief, but I...
And suddenly his tone of voice strikes a chord in you, and you know why he remained with you. You feel guilty, because you led me to my death so long ago, isn't it that it? You've been suffering ever since.
Ah, come on, Chief. Me? Feel guilty? I'm Morte.
No, think of it. When I came to free you from the fate you deserved, you couldn't help, but you tried and helped me. And when you could have left after I freed you, you remained, because you felt in debt.
Morte is silent for a moment, looking at you. Maybe. You know what's funny? At first, I don't know what the feeling was. It's kind of slowly eats at you, you know? I mean, at first, I thought it was a side effect of some enchantment that's bound me to you. But after a couple 100 years, I realized it was more than that, something deeper. I just felt drawn, connected to you. Maybe it's your suffering, Chief, your torment. I don't know. Maybe I felt, I don't know, responsible. Whatever it is, I did. What if something I did brought you to this state? Thing is, I don't like me, or whoever I was. Really ever had to see the consequence of all the lying and cheating I've done. But when I saw you for the first time, when I was trapped on the pillar, somehow I knew that you were the one I'd betrayed. Once, long ago. That's all I know.
I see. Thanks for coming clean, Morte. Alright, so Morte gets some awesome bonuses from all this dialogue.
Nah, don't thank me.
He sighs, and to your surprise his voice seems stronger somehow, more confident. Some of the cracks and fractures in his skull have vanished, as if healed.
Nah, the thanks is all to you. I feel like I just had the plane moved off my shoulders, so to speak.
Let's move on. So if we check out Morte now, he's gained +4 strength, +2 dex, and +2 constitution. And we get an extra 24,000 experience out of all, well, actually 36,000 experience in total out of the entire ordeal. So we're going to go ahead and save, and I'll see you folks in the next video. Keep watching. More great Torment to come.